Moto Mike's out of town and this bike was in the garage. It's a Kove 450 Rally. I'm gonna take it for a test ride and give you my first impressions. This is the Kove 450 Rally regular edition. Kove. I call it the Kove because it sounds better, right? But I'm not sure if it's correct. I think most people call it Kove, but Kove sounds better. The first thing is, this is a Chinese-made motorcycle. That might turn some people off, but let's go over some of the specs. It's a 450cc engine, 449 to be exact. Water-cooled, single-cylinder, 4-stroke, dual overhead cams. It's got a Bosch electronic fuel injection, electric start. Horsepower, it feels like 38 to 40, like the rest of the dual sports in North America stock. It's got a 6-speed transmission, 38-inch seat height, 58-inch wheelbase. It's got 49mm KYB fully adjustable inverted forks, 12-inch suspension and ground clearance. It's got a dry weight of 320 pounds. That's with no fuel or oils or fluids, which 320 pounds is not that bad, really. 8-gallon fuel capacity. 8-gallon fuel capacity. That's like over 30 liters. 2 separate front tanks that are hung like the KTM 790 and 890. And it has a rear tank as well for complete 30 liters of fuel. Also has a water tank below the engine. Maintenance is oil every 2,000 to 3,000 miles and valves every 5,000 miles. And the MSRP is $9,000. That's right. Manufacturer suggested retail price is $9,000. Now, it does come with some pretty cool stuff that is stock or standard. It has this LCD screen. It's got a rally tower. It's pretty light and pretty far forward, so it's fairly decent. It's got a nice, comfortable seat. It has 3 rider modes with ABS on, ABS off, and ABS front only. It comes stock with a steering stabilizer mount. It's got lots of other cool stuff that comes stock, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's got that rally bike look and function, which is pretty cool. But let's go for a ride and see how it feels. When you're riding this bike, the first thing I feel is the suspension. The suspension feels super good. Lots of people like KYB suspension, and this is KYB suspension with all KYB internals. It's just assembled in China. That might turn some people off, but the suspension feels really, really good. Some people say it's stiff, but I don't think it's stiff. And it allows me to ride fast and aggressive, but it still gives me confidence. And this is stock suspension. Moto hasn't done anything to it other than adjusted with the clickers. It's plush. What do I like about it? It's plush on the bottom. It's plush on the bottom of the stroke, but it still allows me to hit shit fast. And it's not so soft where it sinks down or wallows down fast. You know, it stays up and just floats over the rocks and small bumps. I really like it. And the balance on the bike is great. The bike does not feel like top heavy or too heavy at all. It's very well balanced. And the hanging fuel tanks help distribute that weight and make the balance of the bike feel amazing. And the ergonomics of the bikes feel really good. It's comfortable sitting down. It's got good wind protection sitting down. With that rally tower, it feels good standing up. The rally tower is pretty far forward, so it's not too bad standing. But the ergonomics overall are pretty good, especially for a rider who's like 5'10", 180 pounds. Power. How is the power? The power feels the same as any other dual sport coming into North America. It feels like 38, 40 horsepower, somewhere around there is what it feels like. Now, some people say it has no power, but it feels the same as any dual sport that's stock in North America. And the power is definitely in the higher RPMs. You have to get into the higher RPMs to get into the power. The bike likes to run with some throttle and higher RPMs. It just feels at home with a little throttle and a little RPMs. The way the bike idles is a little odd. It kind of fluctuates and floats. It'll be a little faster, then it slows down, then it speeds up. Moto says that's normal. That's typical idle on the Kove. I also believe that's why this bike is more at home with some throttle and the higher RPMs, because at low speed, low throttle, low RPMs, the bike doesn't idle consistently. You can ride slower with this bike. It just doesn't run as nice, and it feels more at home with faster riding. Now, some people say the low end's gutless. I wouldn't say it's gutless. I think it's fine. Could it use like an ECU with a tune and maybe, you know, another 10 horsepower? Yes, definitely, for sure. And Takamoto is going to fix that on this bike. They're going to make power adjustments to this motorcycle coming in the future. But in a stock package, it's typical power. It's normal compared to other dual sports in the market. There's just no aftermarket power options for it yet, or at least any good power options for it yet. And I think this bike's easy to ride because, did I mention the suspension? The KYB suspension is really good. And it's balanced fairly decent. It's not top heavy at all. It's just, the bike is pretty easy to ride, at least in my opinion. What are the cons of this bike? Well, there's no aftermarket power options yet. It's only been out about a year, so that's coming. Those solutions are coming. And what's another con? We don't know about the dependability of this bike yet. It has raced and completed Dakar, the hardest motorcycle race in the world. But time will tell if this bike is reliable. So far, it's been pretty reliable out of the box. Another con is it's not really a single track or hard enduro bike. I mean, can you do that stuff? Yeah. Can it be ridden like that? Yes. But it's not. Hard enduro and single track is not its forte. What's the pros? Well, it has excellent suspension. It's KYB suspension. Everybody loves KYB. This is just KYB assembled in China. It has 8-gallon fuel capacity. Has excellent balance. It's got a rally tower that's pretty effective and pretty far forward out of the way. And a $9,000 price tag for a complete package, it's pretty nice. Some more pros of this, it's going to make a great BDR or small adventure bike. With the fuel capacity and the ability to carry some luggage, it's definitely a great BDR or small adventure bike. This would be a perfect Baja bike to make a cobble run with, since it has the fuel capacity and the ability to pretty much go wherever you want. And another pro is the KYB suspension. It's phenomenal. So what's my first impressions? It's a lot of bike for the price. I really like it. I love the suspension. I love the fuel capacity. I love the balance of the bike. It's just easy to ride. Those are my big things. The suspension, fuel capacity, how easy it is to ride. It makes it a great bike. It's great for BDR, small adventure bike. The platform's a great starting point. It's not perfect, but it's a great starting point. All dual sports need some work from the stock platform. And with some tweaks to this bike, it'll be pretty sweet as well. As ECU and tune options become available for this bike, it will just make the bike that much better. I like it a lot. I think just because it's more my riding style of desert, 2-track, and faster paced riding. That's my riding style, and that's what this bike fits. I would love to do a cobble run with one of these bikes. Maybe one day I can get one from Kove and make that happen. Comment below if you've ridden a Kove 450 Rally and let us know what you think about it. I'm interested in what people's opinions are about this. But hope you liked the video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.